folks, everybody that's standing is comfortable standing, because we got chairs. Your choice, your option. But when we get to the community feedback portion, we don't want to complain from anybody about not having anywhere to sit down. Okay, officially it is now 6:30. This meeting is now called to order, and we will proceed. And let me get the gavel. I got my finger on the microphone, but let me get the gavel. Okay, we're ready to get started. First thing we need to do is to ask the council who's reviewed the agenda, if you would please, need a motion to adopt the agenda or not? Huh? Oh, you're right. Gosh, I'm ready to rock and roll. Sorry about that, guys. We have with us tonight a minister from the First Baptist Church, and his name is Justice Ward, and he plays a mean guitar. Justice, would you come up, please, and say the blessing for us? And thank y'all. I'm ready to go. Greg, microphone. We'll get it for you.
Testing. We'll start with a prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for today. Thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here, and for your many blessings, Lord. God, thank you for health. Thank you for the ability to meet here in fellowship, and for the ability to pray at the beginning of this meeting, Lord. We don't take those things for granted. Lord, we thank you for all of the council members, as well as the officers, as well as the citizens who are here advocating for this city, for this community. Heavenly Father, I thank you that you have already gone before us in word and in deed. And God, at the end of it all, we thank you that you get the glory in it all. Father, help us to see with your eyes, to hear with your eyes, and to know with your heart. Thank you for the agenda, and that everything that is spoken with you in mind, with the prosperity of this community in mind, with the love of this community in mind. We thank you for it. We count it done. Keep us safe from all hurt, harm, and danger, and let us prosper. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And now, if you would, the American flag is up front.
We also have Dick Lowry here that's going to help you with that. Come on up, okay. Dick. So now we got two great speakers. No, here we go. Thank you both. One thing about it, I do get carried away sometimes and get started and ready to move on. But anyway, with that said, for the council now, we need a motion to adopt the agenda. Jay has made the motion to adopt the agenda. Can we have a second?
Second.
Have a second from Bill Duvall. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is now accepted. For those in the audience, when you look at your agenda, you're going to see a consent agenda, and it's got listed the items, and these are items we talked about on Monday night, where they're basically housekeeping items and things we do just day in and day out things, and we put them on a consent agenda for the sake of time. So I would like to have a motion from the council to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
Ann makes a motion to accept. Do we have a second?
Second.
Jay seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Consent agenda is approved. Okay, now we're going to move down to recognition. Now, I know Danny's been waiting all day for this. So I guess we need to do it. Here's Danny.
Oh, is that better? So we're here to do a few things, presentation tonight. First is to recognize Chief McHugh. See here? There he is. Chief McHugh, come on up here. Lieutenant Malcolm, is he here? Okay. Well, both of these gentlemen have spent a few time with the city here. Chief was what, 22 years? 23.
22 and a half.
22 and a half years. He comes from Walton County Sheriff. We stole him from the Sheriff's Department, never looked back, so he was so happy to come here. And then Lieutenant Malcolm started when in 1991, so both these gentlemen retired. This last week we had a little gathering for them, a lot of people came, so officially we want to recognize them and say thank you for a fabulous job you did with the city, and we're going to miss you, and it's going to be turned over here shortly to another person, and he's going to take over. So, Chief, you got about 20 minutes to talk.
Well, I promise you I won't take 20 minutes because nowadays my brain stays as empty as I can keep it. So, but I do want to thank everybody that supported me throughout the years. The citizens of the city have been so good to the police department, and it was almost hard to talk about in other areas because they were having such problems in their community, and we just don't have those problems. We've got such support and love from our community that Loganville is a blessed place to be a public safety officer, not just a peace officer, but fireman too. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the employees. I think most of them are here. I felt like that I couldn't have had a better staff, and I deeply appreciate everything that you guys have done over the years as well. Thank you, and I already miss you guys, but I'll see you in the grocery store somewhere.
So, with that being said, when he retired, February 1st was his official date. I went ahead and made an interim fire chief. Whew, you come from fire ground, but police chief, Chief Lowry was the assistant, and I made him effective interim, and he's still here, so it means he must have didn't change his mind about leaving. So I'm gonna tell you a little story about Chief Lowry. I told him I would get him back one day, and well, Chief, tonight's that night. So some of y'all don't know, I come from the fire department with Loganville. I started in '91, and this was about 20 years ago. We only had one fire station. It was on Lee Bird Road. The fire marshal, current fire marshal, was the captain at the time, and I was just a driver. So we had an issue with a radio that got missing, and a chase was going on in the county, and somebody said something on the radio that they shouldn't have said. Well, the county wanted to know who it was, and it comes back, 911 center said, it comes back Loganville Fire. So they doing this investigation to find out who said this, and it was an all-day event. I mean, it started in the evening and went late into the night. Well, I was working that shift that night, and I heard some people out front of our fire station. I opened the door to see who it was, and Chief Lowry here was a major, I believe, was in charge of the sheriff. Sergeant, okay. He was talking to another gentleman. I opened the side door, and he turns around, and if y'all don't know, he's a pretty intimidating fellow. You didn't want to mess with the chief back then, or now. He got in a fight not too long ago. They had to tell him, that's not your job no more, but that's the chief. But back then, 20 years ago, you can imagine, he looks at me, and he says, boy, go back to bed. So I slammed the door, go tell my captain, I says, you need to go out there and handle that. He goes, I ain't messing with him. So I never forgot that. Never forgot that. I said, one day, just one day, I'm going to get that old man. Well, tonight's that night. So, Chief, if you would come up here with me. So, Chief McHugh told me this time last year when I was doing the budget, he says, I'm going to retire. I said, are you really? He goes, yep, I'm going to retire. I said, well, okay, I appreciate it. And I said, well, we all know, unless something this major happens, Chief Lowry is going to be the guy. And I told him, I said, as long as you don't commit a felony or get arrested, you're going to be my guy. I talked with the council then and now, and 100% hands down, they are ecstatic to have a man of such caliber as Chief Lowry. He is the smartest man I know. So as a leader, I surround myself with smart people. because it makes me look good. And he is one of the smartest guys that I've ever seen, not just police, but everything in life. So I met with the Public Safety Committee. Jay's the chairman of that committee. We've been talking about this now for quite some time. And tonight, we're going to make you the official police chief of Loganville. And you work for the guy you told go back to bed now. So it is, thank you. One of my jobs is to promote department heads, and it's no finer job than to promote somebody like you. And I say congratulations and thank you for the man you are and the man I know you're going to be. So, council, this is the new police chief of the city of Loganville, and I turn it over to y'all. I know you want to go first.
I'm just proud of you.
Chief, welcome aboard again as the head dude. We're glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
Well, you and I go way back, so I'm so happy that I'll be getting to serve with you for this great city.
I just hope all the council is as happy when he's in a car with his blue lights on behind you, waiting for you to pull off the road as you are tonight. But I talked to Dick this afternoon, and I got to tell you, it is really fortunate when a city has had such great representation over the last so many years, and when a police chief makes that decision that he's ready to go retire for a while, even though he did at the luncheon talk about one event when the sheriff slugged him upside the head, and Joe is denying that, so I understand, Joe. Deny. But we are so pleased to have you on board, and it's, as I told you this afternoon, it's a match made in heaven. So welcome.
Well, Chief, it's been a pleasure. I remember meeting you in Cub Scouts down there at PAC 535 years ago with our boys growing up, and it's been great to see what you've done, and congratulations. Glad to have you.
Congratulations. I'm happy for you, and not just happy for you, but happy for the city overall, because I know you're going to do a great job.
I'm happy for you too, Chief Lowry, and I know that Danny will be a good boss for you.
But I got to tell you, just real quickly, I suspect without his wife, Candy, who is here tonight, Candy, stand up, that Lowry would probably be homeless on some of our streets tonight if it wasn't for that young woman. So we appreciate you as well.
Robin, Christy, Natalie, y'all want to say anything? Thank you. So as you can see, that the staff supports Chief here. They're all here. Well, the ones that are not working are here. I'll just say that. So I think when I was promoted to fire chief, I had one person show up. So that tells you they must love you more than mine did. But it's going to be an honor working with you. So budget's due next week, so go ahead and get that to me if you would. I appreciate it. So with that said, I think Chief Boland's going to get you something. Candy, would you come over here? You want your family up here? We're going to have his wife's going to put the badge on him, and I believe, Judge Foster's going to swear you in. I don't know how this goes, but you want to do the badge first or swear you in first? All right, I'm going to turn it over to Chief now. Judge Foster?
You can stand where you want to. Just raise your right hand. Make sure you get. That'll be photogenic. Keep me out of it. I do want to say this. I guarantee you one thing that happened that night in front of the fire station or inside the fire station is that Mr. Roberts went on to bed like he was told. I'm honored to swear Dick Lowry in. Dick Lowry and I have grown up in this business together. He reminds me that he was present working bailiff duty when I got sworn in as an attorney. And we had some of our first jury trials. We both got screamed at about the same time in the courtroom. There's several other in this room today that got screamed at with me in the courtrooms over the years. So I look back across these folks here, and it's kind of like having old home week. And but it's a sign of the respect that Dick Lowry has afforded, that folks that he's worked with years ago in different departments would come out in the middle of the week to be here to support him. And I'm proud of him, and I'm happy for the city. So it is my honor to swear you in. And if we ever start telling stories, he does too, but we got some stories. We have been through thick and thin together a few times. So if you will raise your right hand, and I will read through and just ask you to affirm. I, Morris Dixon Lowry, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of Georgia. I will faithfully enforce the laws of the state of Georgia and the ordinances of the city of Loganville. I do further swear that I am not the holder of any unaccounted for public money due this state or any political subdivision thereof. I am not the holder of any office of trust under the government of the United States, any other state, or any foreign state, which by the laws of the state of Georgia I am prohibited from holding. And I am otherwise qualified to hold the office of Chief of Police according to the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia. I accept the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics as my standard of conduct while on and off duty, and swear to faithfully abide by and defend the same. I do further swear as Chief of Police I will faithfully serve and protect to the best of my ability all citizens regardless of race, color, creed, or national origin. So help me God. You may say I will and affirm. All right. Congratulations. He is now officially chief. Are they going to bark at you for not having blue ink? Oh, good. I'm going to sign here, but you need to sign. And there's duplicates, so.
Go, sir.
There you go. Thank you all. Congratulations, and congratulations to you all, because you got your good.
Thank you. Now you.
Who gets this? No, don't leave it there. No.
You gotta do this without stabbing.
It's not real if he doesn't draw blood.
Hey, Chief, why don't we get your staff behind you and let y'all come out in the middle of the floor? Would y'all come up here and stand behind them?
That's good, guys.
Oh, yeah. No, you're fine.
Yeah, get on both sides, guys. Spray some on the other side. Good job. Good job. Now you're cooking. Yeah. Now you're cooking. Good job.
How are you? Sure. Did you get that lawsuit, I think You want to get all your family up there? Okay. Thanks, y'all.
Folks, the mayor told me before the meeting that I had 20 minutes, so it won't take quite that long. First, Mayor and Council, I appreciate this opportunity to lead this police department. I appreciate your confidence and your trust, and I look forward to serving the citizens of this community, of this city, as their police chief. Danny, I want to tell you that I know for a fact that not many police chiefs will be able to look back and say that they were appointed by somebody that they consider to be a true friend. So that makes this even more meaningful for me. Now I have to tell y'all, Danny wanted me to promise earlier that I wasn't going to make him cry tonight, which I did not fully agree to. But, Mr. Roberts, I will make you one promise. I will not let you down. This is going to be the crying part right here, Danny. For my family that's here tonight, my wife, Candy, my children, my grandchildren, my little sister, my beloved cousin, and those that are watching on YouTube that couldn't be here with us. I want you to know that I fully recognize that the last 28 years have not always been easy. I know that all of you spent a lot of sleepless nights waiting to hear the sound of my key hit the door. I know that you have cried a river of tears and said a whole lot of prayers on my behalf over the years. I know that I have not always been very good at turning it off when I came home. And I know the toll that that has taken on all of you. Most importantly, I know that all of you loved and supported me through it all, even when I didn't make that very easy to do. And I hope all of you know how much I truly, deeply love you. And I thank you for all the things that you've done that made it possible for me to be standing here tonight. So thank you, and I love you all. There are a few friends and family that unfortunately didn't get to be here to share this with me. And if I have any regrets, that would be it. Foremost among those would be my mom and dad. And those of you that don't know, my dad was a lieutenant at the Cobb County Police Department at the time he passed away. But I can remember, and I'm sure Kim probably does too, a lot of years ago, back in the mid-'70s and maybe a little bit before that, Junior Hall and James Toller and others used to come over and try to convince my dad to take the chief of police job, which he never agreed to do. And talking to my mom later, I found out the reason was he told them that in order for him to take the job, they were going to have to pay him $22,000 a year, and they just couldn't do it. I think I'm gonna do a little bit better than that, right, Danny? But I know where they're at, and I know they're smiling down now. And with a son who's now the chief of police, and a daughter who is the director of the Neuro ICU at Grady Memorial Hospital. They weren't always easy on us, but I have to tell you, everybody here, pretty sure they got it right. Judge Foster, I sincerely appreciate you agreeing to administer my oath. We do go back a very long way. And this next statement, I think every law enforcement officer, current and former, that's in this room tonight would agree with 100%. You are without doubt the finest man I've ever known, period, bar none. And there is no one that I would rather have had administer my oath, so thank you very much. Thank you. My friends, my colleagues, and some old school running partners that are here tonight, I want to tell you that I sincerely appreciate y'all making the time to be here. Many of the folks that are sitting in the audience tonight are part of my very best life stories and adventures. And I can't recognize all of you, but I want you all to know that I sincerely, deeply appreciate you being here. Many of you I have fought and bled with on the side of the road in the middle of the night. A few of you I have stood by and next to when the guns rang out. And through it all, I have loved you like my brothers, because that's what you are, and I appreciate you being here. Men and women of the Loganville Police Department, I think you already know what to expect from me and what I expect of you. But I want to tell you just a couple of things that we're going to do together going forward. First and foremost, we will be exceptional as individuals and as an agency. We will be exceptional because nobody cares about or remembers average. We will be exceptional so that when the time comes for us to hang up our gun belts for the last time, we will have ensured that we left for all the generations of officers that come behind us a legacy of excellence and dedication for them to emulate and follow. We will be exceptional. We will work as a team with a singular focus on our mission to take care of each other and to provide the best possible police services to the citizens of this community. Although I truly believe that our relationship with our community is strong, we're going to work together to make it stronger. And in those areas that we identify where we have work to do, we're going to do that work. And we're going to build relationships based on mutual trust, respect, and compassion. We're going to work as a team to have the difficult and very often uncomfortable conversations that are necessary in order to effect real, meaningful change. And we will do this as a team because none of us is as good as all of us together. I have been very lucky in my life to have spent so many years in the company of men and women who wear guns for a living, who dedicate themselves to protecting the weak and the innocent, and who believe in things bigger than themselves. Men and women for whom words like honor, courage, loyalty, and integrity are not just catchphrases. You epitomize those values, and it is truly my privilege to be chosen to lead you. I wouldn't be up here right now if it wasn't for your efforts. And I know that, and I appreciate it. And I want all of you to know there is nowhere that I would rather be than right here, right now, with all of you. I'm going to ask you to do just one thing for me tonight. And I'm going to tell you, it's not always going to be easy to do, but I'm going to ask you to do it anyway. And that's just believe. Just believe that that badge on your chest still means something. It still represents something more important than any one of us. Just believe that despite the naysayers and the critics who will always have the loudest voices, the people of this community, these people right here, they still need you. They still respect you, and they still support you, despite what anybody else would have you believe. When things are at their worst, and you're struggling to find a reason to put that uniform on one more time, just believe that what you do still matters. It still has value. It is still honorable. When you're being blamed for things that you didn't do and you cannot change, I want you to think back to the very first day you ever pinned a badge on your chest, and just believe that feeling is still here. It's still here. I want you to take care of each other, respect each other, believe in those next to you and those like you. Just believe. Now, I have long been of the firm and unshakable opinion that leadership is an art, and it is an art best done by example and from the front. So with that being said, my first command to you as your chief of police is simply this: follow me. Thank y'all. If y'all will indulge me just another minute, I'm going to ask Major Warnock to come up here for just a minute. So, Greg and I have worked together in various roles for the better part of 25 years. And we don't always agree. But that's actually important. Because if all I've got is somebody that says yes, yes, yes every time I have an idea or something that I want to do, and we don't make the best decisions. Differing viewpoints are important. But I will tell you that once the decision has been made, he has always gone above and beyond to make sure that it was carried out to the best of his abilities. Greg has always been willing to do for this department and this city whatever was necessary or required of him. In fact, today, before he came up here tonight, he's already worked a 12-hour patrol shift so that one of our sergeants could be with his daughter who was having surgery. Now, those y'all that know him well know that, there's times he can be a little gruff and a little rough around the edges. But like I have to remind people from time to time, you can shave a Bigfoot, but you can't change its nature. And as I think Natalie will attest, you can't fully tame one either. But having said all that, I've got something that I want to do as my first official act, so if your wife would join us up here for a minute. And you're young, I forgot to. Greg, come stand right here. Now, I'm going to tell you, this will be the first one that will be like this, but all of them will be this way going forward. There are many things, most things, that I also have the firm and unshakable belief that the Marine Corps gets right. And one of those is issuing promotion warrants when we promote somebody. So yours will be the first. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. Know ye that reposing special trust and confidence in the fidelity and abilities of Gregory Lee Warnack, and in recognition of proven abilities, dedication to duty, and reflecting the highest standards of the law enforcement profession, I do hereby appoint this officer to serve as Assistant Chief of Police of the Loganville Police Department, with all the duties, responsibilities, and privileges thereunto pertaining. I do strictly charge and require that this appointee carry out these duties and conduct themselves at all times by the highest moral and ethical standards of our chosen profession. Given under my hand this 10th day of February, 2022, M.D. Lowry, Chief of Police. So, thank you. Now, you get to try not to stab him. I didn't bring a stethoscope, Natalie. Yeah, it's not that easy. You're going to stab yourself. Worse than mine was, Greg. Damn, my horse and new babies this morning. shave a Bigfoot, but you can't change its nature. Where you going? Right here? Right here. And you. Yeah. that's it. Mr. Mayor and Mr. Roberts, I don't have anything for the agenda tonight. Next month, not so much. If it's okay with y'all, I'm gonna steal my family and friends and take over the lobby for some pictures for a few minutes.
Be great.
Christie has something in the large conference room for y'all, for your family and friends.
Oh, on the, okay.
Christie, will you show 'em?
Mr. Lowry, I'd like to give you my first apology. I cut you short on time. I apologize.
You're fine.
20 minutes wasn't enough.
Let me say a few words.
Anyway, I got to tell you that the position of this council and my position is I want every first responder in this town, man, woman, police, fire, to always come home at the end of their shifts. And if they tell us they need something, I'm telling you, we've already moved mountains to get them what they need. And I expect we're going to continue to do that. Their life is on the line, and we need to support them. Thank you.
Right quick, I don't have a speech like that. I mean, I think Mr. Foster said we're ready to go play football after that. So, yeah, I'm on board with that. So, Jeff, I mean, I'll lead the way on that one. So, I guess the good thing is that means I get to talk to y'all a little bit more because I always stand over here keeping my mouth shut. I want to say first thank you to my family. If it wasn't for them, all these families, you couldn't do this job. There's no... Anyway, stop that. These folks back here is what makes us do what we do. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. They're the ones that make us in this position. And I love working with all you. Thank you.
Nicely done. Well, as they leave the room and we're in a mellow mood, I'd like to take just an opportunity to recognize we have 3 previous mayors with us tonight, and that would be Junior Hall sitting in the back over here. Stand up, Junior. And that would be Dan Curry to my right. Stand up, Dan. Stay up, Junior. You got enough energy. Come on. And then Ray Martinez, who left about a month ago. Stand up. Let's give him a hand of applause. Thank you. We appreciate you all being here. That was a nice ceremony. Good job, Danny. Have you finished with all your presentations now?
Well, I'm going to turn over to the vice mayor to you.
Okay, that's fine.
That's all I have.
Okay, we have an opportunity coming up that we have to do once a year, and that's where the council decides who the vice mayor is going to be. And this person, whoever they select, is in a position that they carry forth with the city's business in case the mayor goes down somewhere. And I guess that includes being locked up in an old age home or something like that, or things that can happen in life, and we know that, but nothing is supposed to stop the business of the city. And with that said, and I'm not a part of that voting deal, I guess we'll ask, does anyone have any motions to appoint a vice mayor tonight?
I would like to nominate Jay Boland. He's
Okay.
been twice elected as a city council member. He's done a lot of good work in our city, and I would like to see him have an opportunity to be the vice mayor.
Okay, we have a nomination for Jay Boland. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Bill Duvall seconds. We need to take a vote now. For all those in favor, please say yay.
Yay.
I just want something different.
Yeah, good.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Nay. We have 5-1. Jay Boland is the new vice mayor, and congratulations. And that's his family to my left, in case nobody figured that out. Right, Wendy? Got it. Okay, and now we'll move into the department reports. And I also forgot to mention some other person that's here. We have a previous council member that's with us tonight, which is an honor as well. Wendell Geiger, I almost missed you back there. Stand up, come on. Give Wendell a hand. He was on the city council for 18 years, wasn't it?
Wow.
Yeah, one more council member, Janice.
Yes, and Janice Trouble, absolutely. Stand up, Janice. I'm glad you reminded me. You always get in trouble when you do these things. Did you have 18 years?
I've served 22 on planning and zoning, back in the 80s and 90s and this past one. But I served 3 terms on the city council.
Congratulations, very good. That's super. And we do appreciate everybody's efforts because you have been a big part of making this city what it is today. You've made it a big part of a city that people want to move to and live here, and we know that, so we thank you all very much. Okay, with that said, we're going to move first to the Department of Planning and Development, Chairwoman Linda Dodd.
Thanks, Mayor. Okay, as you know, Monday night, we did a lot of talking and discussion about ordinance amendment section number 111-1, removing the pinwheels from the definition of the festoon to our sign ordinance. We did a lot of discussion, and we did a lot of talking, and the only thing that I want to say before I ask the council members if they have anything that they want to add, I listened to all of the concerns, and I know that we can't control everybody in the city and what they do, but I think it's a real shame that we allow our fears and our concerns that citizens out here are going to take advantage of this, make it not be what we want it to be. And I know y'all have already got your minds made up, but I just wanted to say that I think it's a real shame that we can't do this, can't honor this organization, because I think they're well deserved. So with that said, does anybody else have any comments they want to make tonight?
Any questions, any comments? Okay, is that a motion?
Yep, so I make a motion that we amend the ordinance and remove the word pinwheel from that ordinance.
I had a comment, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, yes.
I don't want our votes to be tied to support of an abuse organization. I don't think that's fair. I think that this is about a sign ordinance and a pinwheel, not whether or not we support it, not whether we support an organization or not. That's all.
Okay,
That's fair.
I made a motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have 3 ayes. All those opposed? Wow. It's a tie vote. What does that mean?
It means you
It
get
means
to
the
break
mayor
it.
gets to make a call, which is rare.
It is rare.
I've been thinking about this a lot today, and my feeling is, I don't believe our city should not be able to participate in things like this as other cities do, and hopefully we can do something with our city to give some encouragement to people who are protecting the kids of our community. And that's the only reason that I am going to vote to support taking pinwheels out of the ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor.
So that makes it a vote of 4-3. Pinwheels will have to be taken out of the ordinance, correct? Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, very good. Anything else, Linda?
And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. We will move on to the next department, Finance and Human Resources, Chairwoman Ann Hunsinger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no actionable items tonight, but I did want to say, just for the record, I think that, as we all serve as council, some people ask us, as we don't do council anymore, we've moved on, for me, retirement someday, and they say, what did you really love about your council and your time? And I'm going to say that tonight, and the promotion of Chief Lowry and Assistant Chief Warnack, I am sure is not going to be matched. So I would say tonight is my favorite night ever. So,
Wonderful evening.
well done, everybody. Thank you
No
so
doubt.
much.
Wonderful evening. Anything else, Ann?
No, sir.
Okay. We'll move to Public Safety Committee, Chairman Jay Boland and Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Very busy night tonight. Would like to echo Ann's comments. Great to be a part of that. I don't think the residents know how lucky and how fortunate we are to have Dick Lowry and Greg Warnack leading our city. And I'm so honored to be Public Safety Chairman and work with those guys. That's all I have for you.
And to add on to that, if you see our police officers and our first responders in town, it'd be awfully nice if we would all take a second and tell them how much we appreciate their efforts. Because I got to tell you, there are a lot of wives at home wondering if they're going to come home at the end of the shift. That happens. I talked quite a bit to one of our DEA agents, and he shared with me what he does when he goes home every day. He never goes home the same way. He goes around the block a few times to make sure nobody's followed him home. So I certainly respect him and I appreciate him. Okay, we'll move to Public Utilities and Transportation. Chairman Bill Duvall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I have one comment tonight. We had a presentation at our retreat last Saturday from our KCI, who is doing our transportation study. And moving forward, the next step is actually there's going to be another open house. It's going to be February 24th in the Rock Gym. What they will be doing is they'll be presenting some of their findings, some of the different options or projects that potential projects to help mitigate traffic in this city, which is a great thing to have. And then after that, they'll finalize the report and turn that over to the city. So just want to let everybody know. I'm sure we'll get it out there on the website, but it'll start at 6 o'clock in the Rock Gym. There'll be a formal presentation that starts at 7, but come there and see. They'll have more billboards up showing what they've come up with. And anyway, see you then.
Very good. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, just to piggyback that on for a second, LCI, not LCI, but the company that did this study for us took a year to do the study. Their recommendations and suggestions total a little over $45 million that we could do in our city to make traffic better. And we all know there are things that we could do. However, your city's budget is about $12,500,000 a year. It's going to take a while. to find that money. The last time T-Splosh come up in Walton County, it was defeated. I understand. I know. It's awfully hard to ask residents to tax themselves. That's difficult. I know that. However, if our traffic situation is important to you and you think it's a problem, if that comes up again, I hope we can find it within ourselves to do better, because there's a lot more than the 1 penny tax that's involved here. The state treats you differently if your citizens had said, we will have this money to do transportation items. A lot of times we get things like the state pays 80% of a project and we pay 20. But when you turn down that T-Splosh, all of a sudden, they're not listening. So just keep that in mind, and I appreciate what Bill has done for transportation, and that's one of the things the past administration and this administration is going to work hard at. It's something we've got to have some help with. And my thought and my vision is, without help, I'm wondering what 78 is going to look like in 12, 15 years. So we're on top of it, and we know what we need to do, but keep in mind, money is always an issue, and we're talking about a lot of money. Okay, with that said, we'll go now to Public Works and Facilities. Chairwoman Melanie Long.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's no actionable items for me tonight, but I did want to make a few comments. I spoke with Danny, and he asked Jeremy, the Public Works guys that go around and pick up our limbs and everything. They made 519 stops in January, and they chipped 20 and a quarter tons. And, you know, a lot of cities charge the citizens for that, and that's something that we as taxpayers are, one of our perks for being in the city, is we get that. And so I appreciate them and their hard work. I also spoke to Danny about the library. Our interim department head, Dustin, he has been over at the library, giving it the love and some attention that it's needed, that we've maybe neglected it for a while. He's replaced all the library lights with LED lights. The roof has been repaired. We had a leak on New Year's Day, and that leak has been repaired. They've pressure washed the building. They've patched and painted the sheetrock from previous leaks in there. They've just kind of given it some sprucing up and some love. And I believe, Danny, you said we'd be looking at taking bids on the stucco repairs? Okay. And so I just was wanting to bring the attention. I've got a couple other things. I'll save them for next month. But I just wanted to let you know that we are showing our library some love, and we've got some hardworking fellows in our Public Works Department. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We do. You sure you're going to be able to hang on to a couple of things to next month? That's a month. Okay. With that said, we'll move to Economic Development. Chairman Brandon Whitfield.
I do have one thing about a grant discussion we had. We touched on it at the retreat we had, but nothing was decided that day. And then we had a little discussion about it Monday as well, and Robbie has gotten back with us. He wasn't able to join us today. And he sent us all an email, and I would like to read it for everybody, because he is a great writer, so I'll be remiss to change his wording. And background story, we were looking at, he presented two different grant opportunities. One was CDAP, which focused more on officially downtown, and the other one was the Living Centers Initiative that we usually call the LCI study. This is what he had to say on the subject. He is speaking with the ARC officials on Monday. It is his recommendation that the city wants to pursue grant funding to help guide plans for the revitalization of the downtown area. The best course of action would be to apply for some LCI study. Some may see this as a waste of taxpayers' money for yet another study, but as I mentioned on Saturday, the benefit of this effort is not only to provide us with a document identifying projects for us to work towards in the future, much like the traffic study, and providing us with documentation to use for grant applications. The LCI study would provide yet another opportunity for our residents to have a say on the direction of our city's efforts and the revitalization of our downtown. The timeline is such that work for the grant would not likely begin until June to July. So if the city determines that a downtown corridor is warranted, that a downtown coordinator is warranted, the people could that person could likely be in place early enough in the process to help guide it as needed. The LCI would likely be completed by November 2023, and he estimates costs not to exceed $125,000, which our share would be 20%. He said while he spoke of the CDAP grant program as well on Saturday, he believes that funding option may prove more beneficial for a different city project. So knowing Robbie's thoughts, I wanted to see kind of y'all's thought on the whole thing. My thought on it is I really don't want to waste the money because we don't have it budgeted. So it'd have to come out of the reserves. But in doing that, it might delay any downtown talks even longer than the year that is projected to take for the LCI study. Any other questions or concerns?
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
So if I read Robbie's email right that we got, it seems like the grants that we would want to go after, we need an updated LCI study for rather than a CDAP. Is that right?
Yes, especially since the last census, we've had a lot of change in our demographics, and he really needs it for grant studies, not just for downtown, but other grants that we can apply for as a city. If it's updated, it'd be a lot better, and we haven't had one since 2015. So it has been a long time since we've had one.
Well, the study was actually 2010, but it was an update in 15.
An update.
So it's really been 12 years.
And how much in the grants would be, I mean, what kind of grants can we go after for the investment of a new LCI? Dollar-wise, do you know?
This is the grant, the LCI grant, so we would ask ARC for $125,000 for the LCI. So you name a price that you think it would cost to do an LCI study. So based on Robbie's investigation, we would need at least $125,000 to do this grant, and then that would be bid out to a firm to do a study. And then of that $125,000, our share would be 20%, which is $25,000. So if we were awarded the money, we would have to pay $25,000 of the $125,000.
No, I got that, but I think what he said was that the LCI results would be more beneficial for other.
Yeah, so when you
grants
do other
wanted.
grants, there's a lot of information that LCI will produce that we can use demographic. There's
Right.
a lot more to it than just saying, hey, you need a downtown, that we can use for other grants that we apply for.
And those other grants, what is the dollar
Like
value
one of
of
the grants we
those?
did for the park, for Gaither Park, we applied for this past year and we were denied. Traffic study we're doing now, we could use that information for that. It was used in the Howdall report, some of that information was used, so it's pretty much any grant that we apply for. We're going after 2 grants now for recreation, for the parks. And it just gives Robbie less legwork to do. If he has the LCI do it, he can just pull from that study and put it in with other grants. This medial income is one of them that most
Well,
grants ask for.
And also, I mean, when we were considering doing the transportation study, I mean, and we met with ARC, I mean, they actually came up and asked us, well, you know, they looked at our LCI and recommended that we go after that, and we said, well, no, we wanted to focus on the traffic study. But I mean, if there's something else comes along, it helps them, you know, it helps with that, working with ARC as well.
Yeah, ARC likes to see an updated LCI. It's every 5 years. It was a requirement in order to have grants. You had to have an LCI every 5 years. But in 15 was the last year that the ARC made it a requirement to update. Now it's just if you would like to have one, you can, but it's not a requirement no longer.
Do you know what the cost, did they ever decide what the cost was for the CDAP? And was the only reason for choosing the LCI over the CDAP, was it because the CDAP was specifically for downtown and was that his only reason that he didn't like that one? And did he find out what the cost of the CDAP
Well,
would be?
the same thing with the CDAP. You ask for what you want. So it's not like the LCIs, you can only get 125. You can ask for 5,000, 20,000, 200,000. You name what you want that you think it's going to cost for a firm to come and do a study. Speaking with Robbie, we've already had an LCI. It would just be so much more beneficial to keep going with what we have versus another grant that's going to tell us something that we can build upon. So that was his recommendation, is LCI is
I guess the
he's
other
more
question.
familiar with LCI than he is the CDAP.
The other question I've got is that if it's not going to be finished till November 2023, then all the talk we had at the retreat and anything about moving forward, just, do we stop? Because
Oh.
why would we, but how do we go forward if we just pay 25 grand for a study and then, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, you know? We want to hear from citizens, but we're going to move forward without it, but we're going to pay the money to do it. It feels like we need to pick our poison or pick our direction. So what do you think about that?
I do think we're in a pickle right now because we don't have a person in place to kind of guide us on what he or she would like to see. So but the grant runs out in February, so that's why we have to talk about it now. I wish we could delay it 2 months and find somebody and ask their opinion. We just don't have that luxury right now. So we just have to plan the best we can. And even if this doesn't help with our downtown initially, it will help with all the other grant fundings like mentioned. So,
And also, the way I understood the CDAP is it was more focused on a particular, if you had a particular, say, a park or something, very focused, very, very specific, whereas this provides a lot more information that can be used. And
Yeah, LCI is more broad. It looks at your Main Street district versus Pecan Street. It's more of that whole district. It looks at where it shows you, hey, you want to do this, but you also should do this over here. It looks at the whole picture versus just a pinpoint, I guess. CDAT's more of a pinpoint. You know, say if we just wanted to develop the 4 acres, that would be a CDAT project where it would only look at that 4 acres and tell you what's best for that. Where LCI is looking at your whole downtown and telling you what you should do.
I found the concerns that Ann had viable because I asked Robbie the same question. Gosh darn, we talking about November 23, year and a half away. He mentioned that that date was probably the ending date that they could say that it would take that long. That doesn't mean it's going to take that long, but none of us know how long it will take. I know some of the council members have mentioned to me that they would like to have some comprehensive study done on downtown before we move ahead. Is that still the case?
Well, we've already had several studies on downtown,
I
so.
understand. Trust me, I understand.
I mean, I would like, I'm a data person. I like the data idea. I support an LCI, a new updated LCI. But how do we spend that money and then do anything on downtown until we get the data? I mean, that puts us in November of 2023, so that's an election cycle, right? Which means we don't start anything until February or March until 2024. So all we've done, in my opinion, is kick the can down the road.
I agree with you on that. This is just staff recommendation by Robbie.
Right.
And I just wanted to make sure that we were clear. If we decide not to do this, it could potentially hurt us with grant funding. But then again, if we do choose to do it, you are right. It would, as you say, kick the can down the road.
Right.
So that's why I just wanted to have a full-on discussion about it before any motion was made or anything like that to see y'all's.
Well, and
opinion.
I'm still trying to get the answer that I asked about how much grant money. Like, what I'm trying to ask is, if we spend $125,000 on this LCI and our portion's 25 grand, and even if we don't use all the data to do downtown, we start moving forward with the downtown development manager, whatever we're calling that position, how much money could the information from the LCI possibly get us from other grants? So what's its value outside of,
I really no way to quantify that because it's just.
well, how much was it for the park? If we had gotten that,
That was 250,000, I believe.
okay, so one award from an LCI grant information pays for it, is kind of what I hear. Is that
Right.
is that a fair?
Yeah. And just so we're clear, reason it's coming late because we're, up until last meeting, we're not even allowed.
Oh, no, I'm
No,
not.
so we heard the council say they would possibly come up with any grants for downtown, so 2 weeks ago, I asked Robbie to see what grants were after I got authority to talk about it, and this is why it's coming in late. So splost. That can be used. That's $6 million in 6 years.
So it can be used, the data can be used for
There's
its
data
current
there
stuff.
that we'd use, what other grants we got? You got the ARPA, that's information, we could use some of that information. When you were trying to go after a certain business type, a restaurant, they asked to see that when we meet with not developers for Main Street, but other, I meet with a restaurant a month ago, and they want to say, well, what's your demographics like? What is your median income? Well, Robbie has to look at the census, and we have the census now, but if we had another study, it's just more data that we can throw out to try to benefit getting other things than the downtown development.
Well, I don't see November 23rd as being an issue because we still have to get the job description for the downtown manager. We still have to get that out there. We have to conduct interviews. Then when he gets here, we're going to be sitting here and we're going to be talking about creating our master plan. We're going to be looking at zoning. We're going to be looking, next thing you know, we're going to blink and it is November 23rd. So I don't really see that November 23rd would be an issue.
With 2023?
Yeah.
Like a year and a half?
Yeah.
I guess what I would say is that would the rest of the council limit our ability to move forward on the downtown idea, whatever that ends up being, by saying, let's wait till the LCI? Because for me, if everybody's going to stop and not do anything until we get the data back, I would rather not do the LCI. But if as a group, we are willing to continue in parallel, continuing everything that you just talked about, like what we talked about at retreat, and at the same time trying to obtain data, then I support the LCI.
I think that's said very well. It's exactly where I feel. I feel like they are two separate things. However, one of them gives us some information down the road that we can, the city can use going forward. So I guess the only question I had, well, we'll leave it at that. You put the question. That's what I feel.
And keep in mind, just my thought, the LCI will help us for years ahead.
Yeah.
Right.
I hope that if an opportunity comes downtown, we're all ready to grasp it and see if we can make it work. But that remains to be seen.
Yeah, the LCI is not a tool for downtown development. It's a tool for a lot of things. It's a roadmap for your city. So I would agree with you 100%, and we can't do it downtown after we get this plan. It would go in parallel. I think you should do, even if you don't want to do a downtown development, you should still do an LCI study because it's the plan to move the city forward. And, it talks about trails and stuff like that, how to interconnect parcels. There's more to it than just your downtown. So I would agree. Yeah, I think you are all serious about doing a downtown development. We don't need to wait another year and a half. But I also think if we can get a grant and it costs us $25,000, that's valuable information to have for future projects down the road that we don't know yet because there could be other possibilities coming.
Yep.
I can go either way on this. I mean, it is $25,000. I understand that, but in a scheme of $1 million projects, it's nothing. I mean, so.
But while we're waiting on this grant or this study, doesn't mean that we can't keep going forward and making progress and talking to people and getting things in place because we don't want to wait till November 23 to do anything.
Right, but we've got a lot of work to do in the
That's right.
meantime, and that's
And
not,
it means
we're not
we
going to
can still
stop
do that.
doing our
That's
work.
right.
What I'm saying is that shouldn't be a deterrent. that
Exactly.
It's going to
I
not get
agree.
the results back.
I agree.
Okay, would the council like to have a motion, or where do you want to go with this? Do we need a motion? We do need a motion, thought we did. Brandon, it's your committee.
All right, well, I would make the motion that we move forward with the LCI, not to exceed $125,000.
I'll second it.
You might want to also add our cost on that report not to exceed,
Yeah, not to exceed 125.
well, ours won't exceed 25,000.
Yeah, 25. 20%.
With 20%, with 20%.
Right. Sorry.
Okay?
Okay, I'll second.
We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, very well, done. Okay, anything else, Brenda?
Yes, is Christy here? Nope, okay. Well, she wanted me to make a couple of announcements about our events coming up. They just finalized the Groovin' on the Green, the 10th anniversary of Groovin' on the Green concert series, and it's going to be kicking off this year with the Jimmy Buffett tribute band, A1A. They've been here before, really great band. So please, and that's on May 20th. So please, everybody come out if they can. I know I see most of y'all out there every time anyways, so I might be preaching to the, but there we go, and that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, very good. Now we'll go to the city manager's report. Danny?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Echo what Ann said about Chief Lowry. It was an honor to name him.
Amen.
It's an honor to name all my department heads. I don't have a department head that I wouldn't do anything for or an employee. And speaking of that, talking about the library, the interim department head, he's shaking his head back there. He's going to have to learn how to do public speaking. Dusty is back there, McApplin, so he's our interim department head for facilities, and I met with him after Randall retired. I said, you got your first project, and don't mess it up, is the library. And he has been there, and if you haven't been to the library, there's about 4711 lights in there. He had to change from standard bulbs to LED, and I said, don't spend a lot of money either doing it. So he worked down there all day, even nights, meeting the painter at 8 o'clock at night, watching them paint until whenever. So he's our new interim. Dustin, do you want to say anything?
We can give you 20 minutes, Dustin.
The only other update I have is, and he's continued working on the library, like I said. He got with Rick and the ladies at the library, and they're very happy that it's had some attention. He's actually, I believe, going to replace some of the carpet, so he's got his work cut out for him. The update on the movie, I'm sure you all want to know because you all call me, is we had our first issue, Natalie, was it Tuesday with the sewer? And our newly interim department head of facilities was Johnny on the spot when the sewer didn't work. He got the sewer department here. They had about 500 people using the rock gym, and it overwhelmed the terracotta sewer line that we were talking about at our retreat. And they popped a manhole, and you ought to seen the massive toilet paper that came flowing. So they had the movie company very happy. And I asked the movie company, I said, you can put Deerfield on the back of that pump truck if you want for a good organic scene. He's like, I think we'll pass. I said, okay. So, but they are filming, no issues. We had a few people upset with just trash and loss of revenue, but the movie company is paying the business owners for the loss of revenue. They have an issue, they can contact the movie guys or ladies. I think it's the man we're dealing with. They're doing 2 to 3 productions a night now. Sometimes the road's open, sometimes the road's closed. The police department's been out there every night with them. The one question y'all have asked about the ice cream shop, is it going to stay? I did speak with him, and he said if y'all want it, we'll keep it and hopefully use it for season 2. That's talks of it will be a season 2, but he said that could come and go depending on how it does when it's released. So please watch the show Zotar on Apple TV. The murals, I keep hearing, oh my God, the murals are so beautiful. Well, they're against the ordinance. So they said they would keep them if the business owner allows it, because it's their buildings, not ours. But if you do want to keep the murals and the business owner agrees, you are going to have to be thinking about changing the ordinance. And that is a sign ordinance. So I think everybody agrees in this room. I think one thing we all can agree is they're beautiful. They're bringing the most positive energy to downtown that I've seen in quite some time. But the signs, the letters will go down because they're props. They can't keep those. But, if they can keep the murals on the side of the building, I think we all would agree that that needs to stay. In the ice cream shop, maybe. Councilman Duvall had a great idea. Maybe at concerts, we sell stuff out of there, use it. So they're okay with that. But that's something y'all would have to think of as a council. Be prepared. Because that sign ordinance, it will have to take some in-depth thought and Robin's magic to rewrite that ordinance. And I know some of y'all don't like people parking on grass. J-Bone. But we did have to let them park on the grass, and Tim informed me that morning. He said, that's a violation. I said, Tim, just close your eyes. But they lost a parking lot in downtown from another vendor. They had about 100 cars they need to be parked, so we made a quick decision. So if anybody wants to be mad at me. We let them park on the grass for a day, and the movie went off without a hitch. That's what you pay me for, solve problems.
Good job. What's the timeframe that the ordinance will be implemented?
By next council meeting. I'm just kidding. I'm
I was
just
like,
kidding.
wait, what?
They're here till, our contract's till May 2nd, I believe, so we got some time, but please don't wait till April to send Robin your comments. No. I'm just kidding. Another great department head. Go ahead, Tim.
I've already got ordinance written for you.
Look at there. That's what I'm talking about. We just need y'all to say yes.
Can we make one deal? If we make arrangements to keep the murals, and if it helps out downtown, I'm all for it. But we need to change the name of the town back to Loganville. Is that fair?
We like Deerfield. Oh, that's another thing. We're going to try to keep the deer on the town green as long
Oh,
as
I
you're
like
okay
that.
with that.
Yeah. Why didn't we think of that
But,
years ago?
well, it's in, well,
I started about a while.
we might have to pause YouTube. It's against DOT because it's in there right away.
I know.
So we just said build it and see what they say. But we have collected, I believe, what, 10,000 almost?
10,000 for the facility, for
Yep.
parking and 4,800.
So I know it's not about money, but they have paid the city of Loganville 10,000 for the parking and the use of facilities. So, but
That's
they are
half-
very happy with us.
That's half the LCI study.
There you go. So,
And they're really trying to be a good corporate
yeah, they are.
citizen.
They're very good.
Really are.
Working with them, we've learned a lot of things with like moving trash cans. We've learned a lot with this process, and we're taking notes. So hopefully, next movie company comes, we'll have a little bit better. This is all new to us, and we're learning. So, but this company is easy to work with. Dave and Jason's who we deal with, and it's just easy going.
I've had some phone calls about, do they need extra people to work?
That is a hard no. They have all the people they have. We've filled. Chrissy's not Chrissy. She's the one that call screener for all the people that call. But the ones that we like, we pass on. The ones we know that's not going to happen, we just say they're not interested, and they're not. They have a very strict production. They have a very strict who's on set. So we have to get escorted when we go there. But Christy, you want to add anything? Microphone though.
No, I'm certainly glad they're here, and I've gotten some good feedback from some of the merchants downtown. They certainly have improved our downtown, and so we're glad to see that, and hopefully it'll definitely turn into something in the future, and some other companies will want to come in as well. They've been very easy to work with. They are utilizing our rental buildings and a lot of other stuff in the city, so there's a lot of revenue for the city, so I'm glad to work with them, and I have got probably 100 phone calls about people wanting to be extras. So many different phone calls, but yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun, and it's definitely a learning experience. So
I thought it was a little offensive when I offered my services to the movie industry. They thought I had a face for radio. And I'm sure they're right.
Well, they said they like the mayor before you, but this other mayor, they said.
I know.
Oh, he's not even here.
Not here, you said.
Dang, I wasted that for nothing. I'm just kidding, Mayor. Mayor, that's all I have.
Okay. Robin Webb, City Attorney. You're
I
on.
don't have any actionable items, but I had no idea Chief Lowry could speak like that. That was a
Great job.
hell of a speech. I wish he was here so I could tell him. I wish I could speak that well. That was really amazing.
I was going to ask him if he could repeat that oath word for word. But he probably could. But they are great folks. Okay, anything else from anyone? Okay, can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Just one?
So moved.
Just one? Okay, can we have a second? Okay, got a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? This meeting is adjourned. However, we're coming to community feedback. All right, we're into community feedback. Let me share something with the folks first. The things that we're going to accept in community feedback are those things that involve the business of the city. And each of the speakers will have 3 minutes. And if you have a group of folks who want to speak, we would prefer for you to designate a person to do the speaking for the group. And with that said, Janice Tribble, you have the floor. She was testing you.
Okay, I just want to tell you all, everybody out here, Helen and I came to the retreat, and we really enjoyed the retreat. We had to leave early because we went to a funeral for Nina Ramsey's husband. It was very sad, but it was beautiful. It was the sweetest service I've ever heard. But I really enjoyed the retreat, and I was so proud of my 3-year-old student, Danny Roberts, because he did a wonderful job of leading that retreat. And I was disappointed that we couldn't stay for everything. But I want to tell you, I was very proud that you invited the people of Loganville to be here. That was so important to me. Not a lot of people came, but a lot of people did listen. And I think that is what is so important. You know, sometimes people don't like what I say, but I just feel like, you know, we have to involve the people of this town. That's what it's all about. And with that retreat, I felt like the people had the opportunity to come, and they had the opportunity to listen, and we listened. And I was very, very proud of the retreat. I hope we can do this more often, because I think that is the one thing that brought so much deception to our town. The people didn't actually know what was going on. It was partially their fault, because Harold Tribble and I probably have missed 2 council meetings in 50 years, and people don't come. Now, some of you haven't been here that long, and it's almost my 3 minutes, I know. I miss Mark Cadu putting the timer on. But anyway, I just want to tell you that we love Loganville, and I really wanted to brag on my other son tonight, too, because he did a good job. Okay, that's all.
Thank you.
Oh, and Loganville looks beautiful. I forgot to say that. And I've already told Christy 15 times she needs to talk them people into keeping all this stuff here.
Very good, thank you. Anyone else? This is your time. Please, yes, ma'am. Could you please state your name and your address, if you would?
Good evening, everyone. Mayor, City Council. My name is Sean Leftwich, and I am the director of HBH Highly Favored Center / Weekend Warriors. And I am here tonight because I'm asking the City Council and the Mayor to create a committee that could find a solution for the big problem that we have here in Loganville, which is individuals sleeping in the woods, which is individuals sleeping in their cars, at Walmart, Ingalls, behind Ingalls, just all through Loganville. And the reason why I know, because I pass out blankets and food. I know of a family that has children, and they sleep in the woods. So I'm asking you guys, please, to find it in your heart, to come up with a committee, to find out a solution, and if you need any help, reach out to me. I have cards for everyone, and because I know how to solve it. So like I said, I go out to these people, and I feed them, and a lot of people know me, and this is serious, because when I had to give those blankets to those kids in a tent, that bothered me. So when you go to bed tonight, I want you to think about what I just said. I thank you so very much for your time. I have cards for you guys, and thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, anyone else? Going once, going twice. Have a great night and happy Valentine's Day come Monday.